Hey guys, I've been getting a lot of inquiries as to how I tune my X1 arm to get it as ISO as possible. It's pretty simple, but you can tell when you have it wrong for sure when you end up putting the wrong springs in there, and you have to apply a lot more force to raise it or lower it. That's a big signal that you have the wrong springs in there. So pretty much what I start out with, I put my X-tune almost to the plus, all the way to the plus. I start out with, that seems to be the smoothest part of the arm. If I'm doing like a hard mount and a vehicle mount, I might go to the minus just to make this arm a little more rigid. So I'll start from the lightest camera and on. So let's say you're using like a DSLR or something. I would start out with 2 blue springs in the lower bones of the arm, and if that holds the weight, you should be pretty good to go. If this section right here needs a little extra lift, then I would just move the blue spring up to the upper section of the bone. This will usually go out first because it's carrying this extra weight here, so that's where I'd go there. And then if this starts to not be enough to carry the weight, move this up to the top section, top bone of the arm. Now, after these two, I don't go to 4 blue. You're gonna miss a big range of weight. What I would do, once you've maximized the lifts up here with the 2 blue springs, take 2 black springs, and start in the lower section of the bones. And then so forth. So if this needs a little extra lift, I just move this up here. If this balances the arm out and you can have the lift, and I usually ride the arm horizontal. I think Pro recommends that you have a little bit of a 15-degree angle when the load's on there. I think the G70X has a little bit of angle up. The X1 seems to ride, for me at least, when it's parallel to the ground. So once we got here, if this doesn't carry the weight, I'll move it up here. And if this is like really close, or this is really close to holding the weight, and instead of going to the next set of springs, I just, here's a little cheat that I found, is you just take the X-tune and you move it up to the minus just a little bit, and that actually creates a little bit of lift. So, instead of going to the next set of springs, you can just adjust the X-tune up a little bit to the minus, and it'll give you that lift. If the 2 black springs cannot hold the weight, then I would go to 2 blue springs. But I would keep this here. If, let's say, this section of the arm does hold the weight up with 1 black spring on the top bone, and this requires 2 blue, that's fine too. That works. If this starts to max out and you've adjusted the X-tune to the minus a little bit just to help a little bit of weight, but you've had to go really far to hold the weight, I would nix that and then go to 2 blue and 2 blue. From here, if the camera's still heavy and it's not carrying the weight, take the bottom bone, change that to black, leave this blue. And if this still works, then you're fine. If this starts to, if it starts to like angle down, you just can't hold the weight of the camera, you do the same thing. So black down here at the lower sections of the bones, and 2 blue. Now from here, I wouldn't go to 2 black. I would just, if this is still not enough spring capacity to hold the weight of the camera, let's say you're now flying a Trinity or something, I would just do this. Just swap these so that the top section of the bone is the black spring and the bottom is the blue spring. The problem is, if you go from here to 2 black, you've missed like an 8-pound range of lift. So there's going to be a big gap, and you're going to have to put a lot of force to lift that arm up. So I would just do that. Same with this. If this works, great. If you need a little extra weight, flip these. And then from here, if still, let's say you're in the 3D rig, I've never had to go this high up, but let's say you get into 3D rigs, and if that's still happening, or just a super heavy rig, then you can go to 4 black. And then so forth. And then if you need a little extra lift here, like let's say for some reason you still can't hold the camera weight, highly doubt it, it's got a pretty good lift on this arm, then you can adjust your X-tune towards the minus, and this helps just to create a little bit of lift. So that's pretty much it. Cleaning is very easy. The springs come right out. These screw into here. They're not canisters, but they're just as easy to maintain and clean.